Now, for the past few years, anyone in the market for a new car generally has opted for a diesel model, but new research from Cartell.ie suggests that some buyers could be better off going back to a petrol model. John Byrne of Cartell.ie is here. John, before we look at the study itself, since 2008 it was the move to this emissions-based system that drove people back towards diesel cars, say. So give us an idea of the figures in terms of how people made that switch.
Well, Brian, good morning. Thanks for having us on. I mean, Cartell has conducted analysis in conjunction with Completecar.ie on this, and we've looked at the top 10 best-selling vehicles in Ireland, new cars, in 2012, and we've seen the beginnings of a shift in the market. In 2008, as you state, the emissions-based taxation system changed radically the market because there was a move to the diesel engine. So in terms of the figures, you have in 2008, 26% of the market were diesel vehicles, 74% were petrol vehicles. But what we saw when the CO2-based system was brought in by the government was a gradual shift. So in 2009, 59% of all cars purchased that year were actually diesel vehicles. In 2012, 74% of all vehicles purchased in 2012 were actually diesel vehicles. So there is a perception out there in the market that the value is in the diesel vehicle.
So looking to this study, it's still cheaper to fill a diesel car, it's still cheaper to tax one. So how have you come to your conclusions now?
Well, what we did was we looked at the top 10 best-selling new cars in Ireland, and we compared the petrol engines with the comparable diesel. So, for instance, in the case of the Ford Fiesta, we looked at a 1-litre engine which produces 75 brake horsepower and compared that with the equivalent diesel engine. What we noticed was that the list price now on the petrol engine is €1,730 cheaper, which is a significant reduction. In other words, the petrol is now a lot cheaper to buy new. Now, in terms of motor taxation, your viewers might be surprised to know that the gap has virtually disappeared. So both of those vehicles are showing as category A2 motor tax, so the consumer would actually only spend €180 for both vehicles. Now, you're correct in saying that there is still a difference at the pump of around 8 cents a litre. However, when we did the figures, we discovered that in fact the petrol vehicle was roughly €270 more expensive per year to run, but you have to cost that against the fact that the list price of the vehicle is significantly cheaper, and therefore there is actually great savings, and we found that right across the brands.
Okay, John, and we expect to see an evening out, I imagine, with petrol and diesel cars over the next while. John Byrne of Cartell.ie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.